All right, are we ready? Let's do this. All right, Health, thank you for being here. I appreciate it. If you're watching this later, please take the time and let other people know about this. Health, really just don't get educated. You can't be uneducated about your health. You can be uneducated, because you can take your car to a mechanic, you can take your car, and it's an intangible object. Money, it'll wrap up some of your money, it'll wrap up some of your time. But that's all it's going to take from you when your car goes bad. When your body goes bad, it takes away everything that you have. Your health is the #1 resource on this earth. You have to know. I'm not saying you got to have a PhD in health, but you have to know some of these things. And we're coming at you trying to give you the basics of what you need to know. How is it possible? Ben hit me with some angry faces. Hit me with some to make this an university here. Most of us, almost every point, female health is a very time is important. Everything's going to go up. People actually have herniation, or it kind of depends. Hernia symptom. You had pain. You have. Most people, all right, we did scan everybody. The 40% of disc people have some back injury. Symptoms. That's about this. Want to have back pain in their life? 80%, or 9. And me trying to, oh my God, you're back. It's not a very real thing. If you get your body to your body back to it potentially every second. So if you're going to spare this thing, you really we're just gonna. I got a lot. This is a big area. Almost or what I've had, and then I've had a lot of disc issues. 5 months. That I've had problems with, and it's because I was using a quote program that almost everybody is still using, that it's in the 90s and the 80s and 2000. Go create my ads. I want to get to do that. This in general is not good. I'm gonna miss. There's as many notes as if I do just on spine. So you getting better for your spine. How you can make your spine healthier for the long term. How you can add your point that it can do the requirements that you ask it to do later. Okay, concepts in here that are going to be really hard to kind of wrap your head around, but please hop into it. New things, the big buzzwords that stand is the other day that connects cancer. That's such a bogus statement. There's nothing wrong with sitting. Sitting is perfectly fine. I'm doing it right now. Okay, we've been sitting. You know, the human race, like the human species, has been around for 1,000 years. Okay, for 200,000 species before us that you can look at. They sit too. There's nothing wrong with sitting. There's nothing wrong with no movement. You know, the desk thing isn't necessarily the answer. It's not the answer to spine health issue. Sitting isn't bad. Yes, that is dumb. So dumb. Now, there's nothing wrong with standing desk. I mean, we need one. What is sitting in a chair really doing? If I sit back, if I sit in this, what is this really doing? The chair core. Okay, so it's replacing my posture muscles. It's ability to hold myself up. If I just took away my core, think we're into a pile of bones, right? This is making it so that I don't have to hold myself up with every core muscle that I have. I don't have to use my low back. I don't have to use my abs here as much. You know, I have to use them in a what to get into and now we're up, but you're not using your core, everything falls apart. This is spine issue. Spine issue because we've been sitting and we stand up and start crazy exercise. We don't warm up properly. We don't give sufficient time and the exercise. Then we've got a very, very serious spine. And we've got sitting replaces the core, and then the core kind of forgets how to do it. And this movement stuff, and the core falls apart and have to do a job that it's not supposed to do, that the core is supposed to be doing. It's not supposed to work that way. Stuart McGill actually has a story that he tells where he was to, I think it was LaGuardia. I think it was in New York. I think it was LaGuardia Airport. Anyway, so what he did, what was happening, all these were they were throwing when they would pick up. So they were on all these lines and seats and picking up their luggage, leaving, and they were having about a day. I think it was multiple stretchers. And what happened when they said, what can we do? Can we do anything so that we can stop looking like we're hauling people in stretchers all day long? Because it was probably bad for them. He looked around and he goes, put the luggage at the of the airport. Like, why would we do that? Like, that can't be the answer. And it's such a simple answer. All he was telling them was talk for 5 minutes after they get home. The body just needed time. Hey, my core cannot be asleep. It's got to wake up. A little bit of time for that functioning, for everything to wake up a little bit, out their bag, so they didn't throw out their back. Not at all. A lot of this stuff in your spine really isn't that few core concepts down. That wasn't a pun, but lack of movement. That's the problem. You need to move about every 20 minutes. There's nothing wrong. Like, one of the funniest things that every once in a while I read an article about this and I just kind of laugh. Is what's the best posture to sit in? There isn't one. There's no best. You know, like you can sit forward, you can sit with your legs out, you could go down to your knees, you go, you know, a bunch of direction matters a ton. You just need to move around about every 20 minutes. You need to get up and walk around for about 5 minutes every hour, every 2 hours. The problem with sitting is that you don't lack of movement. All right, so Now that we've covered standing desk, pain. This is one of the biggest things that I see that people don't recognize pain. They're like, yeah, I've been hurt for a long time, but I didn't do anything. Dude, you have an injury. You need to listen to it. Pain is a very real thing. Even though it's a mental construct, to be a mental construct, it is very, okay? The elbow, pain doesn't come from your low back. Your brain creates what pain. Okay, so my elbow hurts. It's my saying, hey, so whatever you're doing with your elbow, saying, hey, it hurt. You're doing damage there. You're doing way too much damage. So I'm going to shut you down. Stop it. It's saying that's what pain is. Okay, you have from New Zealand. He's an interesting presenter and researcher of pain. Actually showed that the way that he proved that pain is he put one hand through a table so you could just see your elbow on a face, and then the other hand right here. So it looked like your hands were like one was through, and he stabbed through your hand, and people, the numbers were, but people said that they could feel the knife. It freaked them out, right? That was one of the ways that he proved it. He did all these other tests. Really interesting TED Talk. He has some do more research. It's kind of like fancy word. Even weeks and months later, create this sensation of wiggling your hand there anymore. You know, it's kind of a weird thought. And feel funky just as it is. You know, visualization goes into the brains. We can look at the activity of the brain. We can look at the activity of the brain. We can have our hand here just holding it and wiggle our fingers. And it's going to send off little portions that certainly show up in our brain. Okay, then we're wiggling our fingers, but not and cons screen. Okay, so the phantom thing and the wiggling the fingers and all that kind of stuff, it's very interesting, but the brain is an amazing thing. It's telling you pain. You have to listen to pain. An injury doesn't necessarily just happen all at once. Injuries really happen in three different ways. Either they happen an accumulation of repetitions, so and you're over and over and over and over again putting flexion on your spine until it finally just said, man, this sucks, and set you down. You know, and then you waited a week and you got better, and then you did it again. And then you waited a week, you got better, and then you did it again. And then you waited a week, and then you go ahead and you're like, well, I can't not go and try to do it again. And you just accumulate these little tiny, and finally a big one. The other one is time. How much time do we spend in a position? You know, sitting is not bad. It's the accumulation of time. You know, sit bent over all day in a garden, you don't stand up very much. Time in that poor position, and you're cranking on your back. Injuries happen the same way. Big time bad thing, like you fall down and you hit your butt on the ground, and it creates a compression fracture, or you get in a motorcycle crash or something like that, and you get an injury. You get an injury. So one of the accumulate injuries. Gotta listen to pain. Pain basically tells you you have an injury, and you gotta stop it. You ever heard pain is weakness leaving the body? No, it's not. It is not weakness leaving the body. It's pain points into it. You gotta grind it out. That's a different deal. That's like where your heart's beating, your muscles are burning, and you gotta reach your performance, whatever it is, totally different deal. Okay, pain is not weakness leaving the body. Do not believe that crap. A few things like disc degeneration. This is kind of a garbage term. Like I understand why we use it. Like, I don't think that people are very skilled in communication. I wouldn't put myself in that category either. I've had to learn a lot about how to communicate better with people. I've read books on this. I've asked people tons of questions like, how idea, but this is something that is sorely missed in our society just in general, especially by dudes. Dudes do it. If we can communicate, understand, then we're probably going to be a lot better off. Rach and I were talking about that this morning. When people call into her work and ask for a certain thing, there's another version of her work across town. So it's like asking for the one in Iowa City, or are they asking for the one? The way that tells her to do it is they're the one in Iowa City and their address. It's like, you got to ask them, do you want the one in Iowa City? They have to tell you Iowa City or Coralville. That makes a mutual understanding. All it really means is that a disc is damaged and it's in pain. That's all disc degeneration. The way it sounds like it's like crumbling and like a brake pad in your car. Actually, what's going on? All it means is that it's and painful, ambiguous. Kind of like arthritis is the same. Is kind of in the. I put that in the same category. I put impingements kind of in the same category. What does that mean? An impingement just means that it's pushed together a lot, and arthritis just means that there's inflammation in the joint. Well, no shit. Arthritis is on some level a little slip disc is another thing. What's like? No, your disc doesn't slip. You do not. Most of the time when I talk to people, they use slip disc as a herniation. They don't. All a herniation means is that the nucleus has kind of traveled out to the edges of where it's supposed to be. So it's kind of pressing up against some of the structural things, maybe even up against that nerve, and bad things are happening. Yeah, you like the peroneal nerve in a calf. Go ahead and reach in and grab up in here in your tricep. You can find they're gonna excite. You're gonna all you're really doing is hitting a nerve. Slip disc is wait, where was I? Oh, a herniation is like you're just kind of that nucleus is traveling. Happen, you know, in the movie The Dark Knight Rises, where he gets his back to Bruce Wayne. Bruce Wayne gets his back broken by Batman and Bruce Wayne. Anyway, to this prison, and one of the prison people whacks him on the back where he says the vertebrae is sticking out of his back, and puts it back in place, hanging from his arms until it heals. If your vertebrae is sticking out of your back, you are no longer, you're done. You're paralyzed. It's not what happens. That is not a slip disc. That does not work. That's a movie. This brings us into chiropractors. Chiropractors have a place. Okay, before anybody gets all mad at me, chiropractors have a place, but it's tiny. It's tiny. Most of the time, many times, more adjustment to the spine is actually a negative. More adjustment actually makes it in and out of position from where God the spine. Like we don't want the spine to move, which we're going to get into here in just a second. But movement of the spine is what got it all out of whack in the first place. You don't want movement of the spine. You don't want that to move easier. And if you're sitting there adjusting it, that's no good. We don't want constant adjustment. Chiropractic hit a dopamine. Dopamine is a neurotransmitter that feels good. When you get adjusted by a chiropractor, damn it feels good. That dopamine release is on point. I get it why people want to go. Get your pace. So it is not putting the spine to your cheek can flow. You know, and this is a guy who makes a lot of that kind of stuff. Mental side and this and the chi and actual chi. You know, but there's a lot of chiropractors. Even Stuart McGill, who we were talking about, world's leading spine researcher, super smart dude, great guy. If you ever get a chance to talk to him, he is nothing like, or he's not nothing, but he's got a lot of personality, which doesn't come out when he's being professional up on stage or in his books. He's very dry, he's beautiful, but he doesn't speak bad about chiropractors, but he's pretty clear that adjustments are unnecessary. Like rarely is it ever even a thing. It's almost always unnecessary. But I don't want to harp on chiropractors, because chiropractors really do a lot of good things. They really do. But some of them, I've only met maybe a handful, and I've met a lot of chiropractors very good. I've met a handful of guys and girls that are actually good chiropractors that understand that they really have. I have met that are either stupid or they're thieves. They either are smart enough to believe how stupid their craft is and how, or dumb to understand what's actually, okay? Those other were amazing. So make sure that you're going to one. I don't really have a recommendation. But this stuff is, it's hard to communicate what's going on in your body, because like you've got to drop it to the layman term, right? I don't think that you should be when it comes to your health. It's okay to be hard. It's okay to be a layman when it comes to certain things. Like you don't need to learn how to do brains. You do need to know about your health that you get to be a layman on. You need to know about mindset. You need to know about exercise. You need those four. Okay? Let me get some other notes here. Let's get into it. Okay, so back to we get injured. Why do we accumulate repetitions? Flexes or extends too much, so it moves around our spine. We do not want this back and forth and back and this. This is not one thing on our side. If you guys, please hammer that like button, hit the share out publicly, and make it. If you guys have questions or you want to, please make this an interactive thing, because really this is just me sitting here talking to myself otherwise, and I'm just preaching. I don't really have any interest in being a preacher. But we either accumulate reps or we accumulate time in bad positions. Think of a person gardening, picking beans all day, and they're bent over, and that's no good. The other was trauma. One time, bam, got hit, bad things. Obvious people too are still injured. So how do you? One, we need to practice bracing, anti-flexion, anti-extend, lateral flexion. Okay. 2, 4, 5. Yeah, our big 5. Those are our almost each of them said anti. We want to be the core. So what I call the trunk. Okay, because and so is your shoulder blade. This is your core, and the pelvis blade are the same thing. Just one is upper body, and one is. So so anything that manipulates your pelvis is scapula is also part. But anything that's an anti-mover, we do not. Those exist movement. We want this to our appendages, legs. We want this to resist. Now, but it's like anti-flexion, anti-lateral, and break. Those are what we want to train the flexibles. Flexible spines actually tend to have trouble. This spine is at least protected. And we don't necessarily want a rigid spine, better than one that can bend and come back out. Those are anti-movers. So what is bracing? The 90s, 2000s, these little bit, is when you suck your belly button into your spine, supposed to protect your was that we turned on transverse abdominis. That's weightlifting belt on the inside of your trunk. Arm out to the side, what's the first thing kick on? You bend over, you stand up, what's the first thing kick on? Transverse abdominis. However, when we draw in like that, I think it turned up the volume on TBA, on transverse abdominis, but we turned down the volume on everything else. So losing all the other muscles in our core to TBA doesn't work. What we have to do in order to get a better overall rounded is we need to brace. We need to push our gut out. We need to build air pressure. So we need a big inhale and then push out, and it kind of creates where thanks, Matt. Where our core is stronger than the sum of its parts. And we'll make this super stiffness at the low back where it's less likely to. The drawing maneuver is great to do when we're doing something like a one-arm dumbbell. We need to do this huge heavy bracing, but if we're going to deadlift or we're going to squat with this, and you got a lot of back issues, then you need to be bracing. The worst thing that you can do is nothing. So we want to exercise, but how do we exercise? We need to practice these movements. We have to get that thing fired up. There's a lot of too. For instance, overhead squats, all this kind of stuff. People don't realize that it's extremely inappropriate for some people. That's about thoracic mobility, and it's about control. Because what do most people do? Most people extend their low back because they can't get it here back in good position. So they end up giving away their low back, putting all this pressure on their lumbar spine. We don't want this. Rotation at the lumbar spine, and we want that at the thoracic spine. We don't want extension flexion. We want to maintain. We want to be able to move. We don't want to train them. The worst thing you can do is nothing. We have to train. This is why we do an assessment. What's going on? You're coming in on live. Yeah. But there was actually a while ago that they closed and moved over to another side. I'll probably close up soon. But they went one-arm overhead lunges with a kettlebell all the time. You'd see them outside doing all these lunges, and every one of their people, most of their people anyway, given their to get these lunges in. Now, is that nice for them? Yeah, look good for that. Accumulating bad repetitions, fine. Accumulating time at that spine. That's no good. We do not want that. So some myths about that. Disc degeneration is a garbage term. Chiropractors are usually kind of ridiculous. You're not for adjustment. You're going there for a dopamine. You're going there for a dopamine release. Some chiropractors are awesome. Do your homework. It is hard to communicate, and you have to know about this kind of stuff. That's why we're coming to you with this, so that we can hopefully spread a good message. We'll hear it. I don't know, but exercise is what you have to do. You have to get into exercise. You don't get to get out of exercise because you have a spine injury. We can still do stuff. We just have to find a way to do stuff. Sometimes that takes some creativity. To pain. Always listen to pain. Pain is a very real thing. We create it up here. We don't create it down here or here. But that was my stuck crotch. But you create pain in your brain, but it's still a very real thing that you need to listen to. It's not weakness leaving the body. That's a dumb statement. Standing all day is dumb. Standing all day is so stupid. You are replacing your core when you sit. There's nothing wrong with sitting. There's nothing wrong with replacing your core for a little bit. The problem is is the lack of movement. Now, your body forgets how to get that core to function. It forgets how to light that up when you do get up and move around. And that's where you get an injury. Okay? Way more people, just a few things. then we're gonna jet out because I'm well over my 30-minute time limit. But more people, way more people are gonna injure their spine today, tying their shoes and sneezing, than have injured their spines deadlifting and squatting. For all people who injure their backs today, than everybody that has ever deadlifted or squatted in a weight room. It just, for one, it's because not very many people deadlift and squat every day, but also everybody's sneezing and tying their shoes. The point is, you put yourself in these bad positions, you're going to get injured. You have to learn how to manage these. You only get so many repetitions, and then it's all you got to take care of your spine. You have to look at health as the most important resource that you possibly have, because it is. And you have to get educated on it. So if you guys, please, if you hate this, hit the angry face. And share it publicly and write a post thing that I said was stupid. Write a post, share a post saying why you liked it. But here we're gonna sign off. We're a little bit past our half-hour limit. Thank you. See you soon.